today I'm going to be showing you how I made this shirt. But before we get into the sewing tutorial, just wanted to tell you about an important cause that I'm advocating for this month. It's December 2020, or Dressember. During the month of Dressember, every day I've been wearing a dress. Others choose to wear a bow tie or a regular tie in order to raise awareness and funds for human trafficking survivors. I will be leaving a link in the description where you can donate. Now, on to the tutorial. Let's start with the pattern. So I started with this basic sleeve pattern that I copied off of a shirt. I cut off the bottom part. From there, I used slash and spread to create the flare. I cut rows into the sleeve and then stretched them out and then traced the new shape onto another piece of paper. Then cut that out. Ta-da, there's my new sleeve design. I wanted the body to be quite shapeless, so I extended the waist until it was the same size as the bust and then drew that line. Now, I also needed to accommodate for the buttons. Extended the fabric by 1.5 inches, which I thought was enough to create a hem and double up the fabric the buttonholes would go into. Then the neckline, I just went down as far as I wanted to and then traced this shape. I kept mine pretty high because I didn't want to create any darts or make it super fitted around the bust, which would be awkward if I had this shape. You would see that the round parts of the neckline would just poke up and be away from the bust. It would just look really awkward, so I chose to keep mine relatively high. Next, I traced the neckline and extended a little bit down and to the sides. This piece is going to go on the inside of the front of the bodice to help our clean neckline hem. Lastly, for the back, just made a rectangular neckline. I cut out my pieces. Here's my front and back bodice, the inner neckline thing, then here are the sleeves. Now going to the inner part of the neckline, I folded the edges in once, ironed them down, and then put a stitch through that to hem. Next, I put that good side to the front bodice, pinned those together, and stitched it down. Before flipping it inside out, I'm making a few snips in the corners of the neckline. This is going to ease the tension and allow us to turn that inside out without distorting the shape of the neckline. Roll out the edges and then top stitch those together. Amazing, amazing. I was really happy with the way this turned out. Here I am tearing up. It's just so beautiful. Good side to good side, I put the front and back together and stitch them together at the shoulders. I make snips into the back neckline and fold them in. Then I hem them to create our full front and back of the neckline. You can see now the shape of this top where it's just kind of flat with a hole in the middle to put your head in, and then you can lace it up at the sides. Next, let's move on to the sleeves. I did have to change something about the pattern here. I just pinned the sleeve onto the armhole, and the problem I'm noticing, the sleeve is continuing all the way to the end of the sleeve hole. Now, at least 1.5 inches here is supposed to be folded underneath so that we can double up on this side and put our buttonholes through there. So I'm basically just cutting straight across 90-degree angle here, and then curving out this side just a little bit. And I'm doing the same on this side. Adjustments have been made. It's time to go back to the machine. After my adjustments were made, I pinned the sleeves into the armhole, good side to good side once again, sewed them together, and flipped it back to the right side. Pretty nice. I was happy with where I was going with this. Now we get to these sides where we are supposed to put our buttonholes. First I created a hem, and then almost like a larger hem. And this just creates the area that the buttonholes will go into while being clean on the inside. I ironed those down, and then I went to the sewing machine to stitch those into place. Next, I marked where I wanted to put my buttonholes. After the buttonholes were done, I laced some twine through them. I do wish that I used something prettier like ribbon, but I got nothing. I just didn't. So I used the twine and called it cottagecore or something like that. Last thing to do is the hems for the sleeves and for the bottom, and we're done.